What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode. It is episode 21. I'm feeling amazing today.
Headphone warning. If you're wearing
Headphone
headphones.
warning. Sorry, it's too late, but I had a ghost energy this morning. I'm running on 4.5 hours of sleep. We're just slanging today,
You
dude.
slanging.
I'm gonna crash so hard later.
We can tell.
I have to
We
go
can
to
all
a
tell.
party later tonight for a little while.
Oh, dang.
From
You're
one
going
of
to a party?
Well, not like a party. It's just like one of my old coworkers.
Right.
And she's like, "Hey, come to my birthday party." I'm like, "I don't really want to go, but I'll say hi."
Okay. So,
Episode 21.
episode 21.
Mindfulness and meditation. Oh my gosh.
We're going to get into it.
This is gonna be a great episode.
We kind of got into it in the last episode if you
Yeah.
watched that one.
We
And
touched
then
a
Nick
little bit.
yelled at me.
I
He was
did
like,
yell
stop
at him.
it.
Yeah.
So, we're going to get into it all today. I
All
got
the
some
sauce.
I got some banger tips for you guys.
Yeah, today's gonna be a great episode.
We got a good one.
We love
This is gonna be
meditation
great.
here. Real
Medi-
Sigmas meditate.
Real Sigmas meditate, and that's facts. If you think meditation ain't for me, you know who I'm talking to. Someone said this to me. They said, meditation, you know who I'm talking to. You know who I'm talking. You can do it.
Catch
you can
this
do it.
right hook. You can literally catch
You
this
can
right
do
hook.
it. You can do it. We know you can. You just gotta try it. I
Yeah.
swear, it is literally the most goated thing. It's just about
Actually,
shutting that mind
I
off.
want to start off with this, right, for meditation before we get into the feed. This is really
Okay,
important,
okay,
so I
yeah.
don't forget this thought. A lot of people say "Oh, I tried meditation and my mind kept running away and it was just too hard."
Like, that's the whole point.
That's the point. That's a fat
That's the
person
whole
saying I
point.
went to the gym and I didn't get in shape immediately. That's literally what that is.
It's a skill that you got to develop.
Yeah.
Like it
exactly.
really is. It's not something that people think meditation is supposed to be easy or it's supposed to be
No.
no, this is just like anything else. This is like working out and that's
Mhm.
like saying oh, I tried to run a mile but it took me 10 minutes. Well, it's you got to
Yeah,
learn how to do it.
that's
You
the
can't
point,
just
bro.
run a 6-minute mile without ever exercising
Yeah.
before. It's the same exact thing of when I started meditating, I think it took me about 3 months of meditating to
Mhm.
learn how to meditate.
Yeah.
Right?
That's so
Like,
true.
that's facts.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes. So remember, it's not like that. You are gonna have
Dude.
to learn how to do it.
I've been
I'm saying.
meditating for a year and a half and I still don't know how to meditate.
Yeah, there's sometimes where it
that's
still
literally what it is,
sometimes it still doesn't work.
Okay. Anyways, so
you
before
know.
we really start to get into the sauce, we have a fee. Okay, you guys. This is no monetary fee. Okay. Now, see, simply, it's an information exchange around here. We want to grow this show, but the only way we can do that is if you guys help us out. So if we ever make you laugh, we made you smile, if we're keeping the energy up right now and you're feeling amazing, shout out Ghost Energy. That's the only reason I'm hyped up. But if you
No,
guys
for
just
real.
feel amazing, you're laughing, you're smiling, you're thinking of the world a little bit differently, go tell somebody about us. That is how we grow this show.
Go tell
We
them.
grow by word of mouth. Tell your mom, tell your grandmother, tell your best friend, tell your sister, your wife, your brother. I don't know. Tell somebody. But tell somebody about our show. That's how we grow. So
That's how
yeah,
we grow.
let's jump into it. Meditation and mindfulness.
Okay.
Or mindfulness and meditation.
So,
whichever you wanna say.
Can I start with
Go
this?
for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
So this is gonna sound so nerdy. You guys are gonna be like, this dude is
Yeah.
a freaking nerd, bro. But one thing we do a lot is we snorkel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We live in California, so we got
Sunny
nice
California,
beaches.
baby.
So snorkeling, if you didn't know, a lot of people think, oh, you just sit on the top of the water and breathe out the tube, right? Well, there's one thing you can do where you dive under the water and you
Yeah.
hold your breath, right? But obviously, if you've ever tried to hold your breath in the middle of the ocean, you got 30 seconds before you got to come up max. A lot of the time, if you don't train
Yeah,
how to
average
do
person
it,
can only do 30 seconds.
you can only do 30 seconds. So because of that, I was I want to get better at this. And it's a skill. There's people who can hold their breath 5+ minutes. I think there's
That's impressive.
yeah, it's if there's one thing I'd say is getting in tune with your body, it's being able to hold your breath for freaking 6+ minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, that's actually a superpower.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I started kind of learning and figuring it out. And the biggest thing I learned with that was kind of my meditation skills. But I learned how to hold my breath for 2 minutes. I think my max ever was 2 minutes and 15 seconds or something like that.
Didn't that happen at that Daniels party?
Nick
yeah,
watched
I was
it.
the one
The
who was
first time I ever hit
like
2
timing it,
minutes.
yeah.
It was really crazy. I was literally sitting in the hot tub and then I just shoved myself under the water and I said, I'm gonna hold my breath for 2 minutes. And it's crazy how it didn't really feel like I trained that much, but I did train a lot. I practiced a bunch to get there, and it is a skill you can develop. But the main thing that I'd say is it's not really oh, I grew my lung size or my air capacity that my lungs could hold. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not really. What it really comes from is the meditation and the skill of shutting off your brain. Okay? So the reason why I was bringing all that up is that today we're talking about how to just shut off your brain. And that might sound dumb. It might sound weird. Why would I want to shut off my brain? But it's a skill that I think is crucial for kind of quelling anxiety. Okay? So
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest struggles people have is getting anxious, right?
They either live in the present or the past.
Right. So like,
Sorry. They live in the future or the past.
right. They're getting very anxious about the issues that are going on around them. They're either stressing about things that are going to happen in the future or things that are happening, in the past, whatever. They're letting it affect their present, and it's making them anxious, right? Anxiety is like it kills your motivation. It kills your ability to do things if you're constantly worrying about what's going to happen, right? So our goal as humans is to live in the present as much as we can and really enjoy that moment, right? So how can we do that, right? To me, meditation is crucial for that.
100%.
There's always going to be times where we get anxious and anxiety gets the best of us. Things happen. And to me, the way I quell it is boom, meditate.
I wanna preface this by saying we're not talking about some like spiritual chakra opening, third
you
eye.
have to, you actually have to like do a whole ritual, like multiple candles.
Yeah,
and, like,
none of that stuff, bro. This is bro science that we're talking about here. Actually, no, there's actual science behind it, but like
we
it's
should
like
have gotten some like documents or something. We could have
Probably
like pulled
should've.
out some like research.
I've seen some research, but I don't have any research on me. But like straight up meditation, when you actually do it, it's so good for you.
It's so good. If you can learn to do it, it's really good. And today, a lot of time I feel like we talk very much theory on here. We talk about like the theory of like, how to get your mental health better. I'm going to give you guys some straight up tips.
Yeah, this one's going to be very practical.
This is going to be very practical. Like I want you to actually try this. So I'm thinking, should we talk like theory stuff more? Or should I do that now? Should I talk about like
let's talk about the concept of meditation
first, I think. And then we'll get into the practical stuff. So bear with us for like 10 more minutes and then we'll get into the practical goodness, all right? So to start off, let's kind of talk about like, meditation, like why should we actually do it, right? Because I think a lot of people right off the bat approach meditation in the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
And if you can't realize what meditation is for, you can't really meditate in the first place. Okay. So like, I'll start off and just kind of say to me, meditation is, it's crucial in the way that our brains work, where there's a lot of things that happen in a day, right? And a lot of the time we can feel overwhelmed and anxious about all of those things that happened in a day. And meditation, the reason we do it is to basically compress all of those things and then organize them in our brain, right? To me, like meditation is like, there's a lot of things that'll happen and maybe even things that I don't fully realize are affecting me. And by meditating, I can just kind of sift through all of those things and organize them into like things I actually care about and things that don't matter, and I just let them go, right? So it starts off with like a lot of people when they sit down to try to meditate for the first time, you're going to feel this way of like, there's so many things you're thinking about, right?
Yeah.
It feels like you can't stop thinking, right? And like it's really hard in the beginning. And I recommend if you are trying to meditate, one thing I used to do when I was kind of starting off is either playing like some really calm music. If you're looking for some goated stuff, the Skyrim soundtrack.
Oh,
there's this
my
YouTube
gosh.
video that says like it's like
an
Skyrim.
hour long. Yeah, Skyrim ambience.
Yeah, Skyrim ambience. Or you could also try one that's like Skyrim meditation. It's like a 3-hour long one. It's like study and meditation. This, bro, maybe it. But okay, no. I would say like for me, I'm like maybe it hits because of nostalgia because I loved that game. But it hits for him, and he didn't even play
the
it.
game when I was a kid. But like it's the perfect atmosphere to meditate in.
The perfect atmosphere.
The music isn't distracting, and neither are the sounds.
Right. It's just kind of like beautiful ambiance, right? And what it does is it just, if anything, it just kind of like tunes your brain, right? So you can try that if you want it, if something, getting into practical stuff now. Yeah. But just like, you can try that if you want. But the main thing, right, the goal of meditation is to learn to shut off our brains.
Live in the present.
Live in that present moment of just like, there is nothing that I need to stress out about, so why am I stressing? Boom.
So the way I look at meditation, pretty much the exact same thing, is learning how to control your thoughts, right? For me, I used to always think about like the past very often and be like, I made so many mistakes, and like my brain would just run insane and it would just be all over the place. And I never have like, when I started meditating, I have never really watched any videos, but I just kind of figured this out. Like I'm self-taught, if that makes any sense, right?
Yeah.
And I started to realize like how important it is to essentially focus on the now and the present. And how I do mine is I focus on my breathing and I don't think about thoughts. essentially I look at it like, I remember hearing this like videos like your mind is like a monkey that just keeps swinging from rope to rope, which are thoughts to thoughts, right? The monkey's just jumping through the jungle and just grabbing whatever vines you want. And the whole point of meditation is being like, hey, monkey, stop. Let's just chill for a little bit. And let's like stay right here in this moment, right? Because you don't need to keep going to every single vine. You know, we could just chill right here.
We can chill on that vine right there.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole point is bringing your monkey back to you, so you don't have to like run constantly
away. Kind of sounds weird saying your monkey, bro.
Bring your monkey back to you.
That's a little weird.
It sounds weird, but like that's what's helped me out a lot. Is like basically how I do is I just sit there, my thoughts start to creep away, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna catch that, come back in, and then I focus back on my breath.
Right.
So I've learned the ability now to see my thoughts and audit myself in those moments when it's starting to run awry or whatever. Right. I'm just like, yo, I can catch my thoughts now. That's the thing that we're trying to accomplish in meditation, is being completely mindful of the present moment and not thinking about the future, not thinking about the past, and not like running all over the place. You know, Uguay's got that quote. It's like the present. No, sorry. Hold on. The future is a mystery and the past is history, and like right now is a gift. That's why it's called the present, right? Like that's
why it's called the
true.
present.
Yeah, that is why it's so true. Like it's important to live in the present, not in the future, not in the past. Like that's what this whole thing is about, is keeping control of your thoughts and not letting them fly over the place.
Exactly. So, kind of coming into it, right? This is the basic, reasons that we do meditation. Mm-hmm. But I think, the crucial thing and it's crazy. The reason why we know this is true, right, is because me and Nick both came to this conclusion without ever discussing.
Yeah, we've never talked about it.
That this was the conclusion.
Yeah.
Right. We both went on our own mental health journey kind of completely separately.
Yeah.
Like we did discuss it sometimes, but it was always like we'd talk about something like, wait, you do that too?
Yeah. It was always like
weird,
that. Yeah.
Right? So it's like we know like through the practice, like if we both did it like asynchronously, like we did it and then both realized that it was right. I mean, come on. Like you gotta know.
That right there is.
So yeah. And like for us, meditation, we both kind of always talk about it as like, it's a crucial one. We talk about journaling and meditation, like those two.
Huge.
Goated, bro. Goated.
S tier.
And so the basic thing for me is this. Like you said about kind of like the monkey going vine to vine, right? When you try to meditate, a lot of the time, what it's going to feel like is there's so much going on, right? And I think the reason why people get scared of it is say, oh, it doesn't work for me. It's like, oh, nah, it doesn't work for me. Your brain is so used to the millions of things going on.
Yeah, like social media, bro. Like kids are constantly on their phones. They're always like doing this, getting like next dopamine hit after dopamine hit.
Exactly.
And your brain is so fried, dude. Yeah. Everybody's brain is so fried in this day and age. Like I just wanted to add that part. Like it's so bad.
It's so bad.
It's
and like
disgusting.
And you might feel like, oh crap, well my brain's too fried now. There's nothing I can do. And my answer to that is no. Bro,
you're wrong.
I used to be a iPad kid hardcore, sitting on my phone watching freaking YouTube day after day after day.
Video games for days straight in the room, not even eating food.
Bro, I told a girl I couldn't hang out with her to play Ark. If
you know how bad that is, bro? He was in the pits, dude. That was hell. That was literally hell. Homie was in hell.
If I was that bad, you could do it too, all right? You could get out of it. And I'm telling you, it starts. God, this is a wild episode today. It starts with kind of like realizing that, like, okay, I need to learn how to just enjoy the moment better, right? Yeah. And so this is the thing. When it comes down to it, like one of the biggest things, one of the happiest things in my life is that I can enjoy a moment just simply for the moment, right? People are like even like at work, right? I realized that like low key, I like sometimes like with the new people, like I don't talk to them. And I was like, I wonder why I'm like
I do
this.
The same thing. I don't know why.
But like, it's almost like this. I can enjoy just sitting there and hearing nothing. Which is weird because people are like, why do you just sit there and just stare at something? And I'm like, I don't know.
Dude, I can sit there and stare at like birds and stuff like the trees, and people are like, "Why? What are you looking at?" I'm like, "Dude, look at those birds over there." And they're like, "What's wrong with you?"
Like, cause me and Nick both work on a lake, right?
Yeah.
And this lake has like ducks and geese and like random crap. Sometimes I'll just sit there and stare for maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Like when I'm like really like mentally, I'm just like I need a break from like human interaction. I'll just sit there and like just watch the ducks swim. It's nice. It's like it's super calming. It's like I don't have to worry about anything. There's nothing I have to stress about. It's like these ducks are just living in the present, and so am I.
Yeah.
Right? Really becoming in tune with that. So it might seem weird, and yeah, you don't have to go sit and watch ducks for an hour. Like, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you can master the skill of living in the present and just being happy with no stimulation going on, it really is crucial, right? So many people are unhappy with their lives because it's not constantly stimulating. It's not fun. You can't ever achieve, like, there's, like, with working on stuff, right? You're in life, if you want to succeed in anything, there's going to be times where you have to work, right? You have to do things you don't want to freaking do.
Deep focus.
Right? So, like, from that, you can't just be like, oh, well, I constantly want this stimulation and this fun. You're never going to get your work done. It's always going to be a drag. It's always going to be, like, freaking dumb and annoying, and it's just going to be
drag.
Right, exactly. And you're like, this is stupid. But if you can learn to just be happy with, like, not constant stimulation, you can be so much more successful. And to me, that has helped me so much. I used to be that person that hated school, didn't want to do it, like, hated working on things. But then through my art of, like, okay, I realized I can be happy with not just constantly being stimulated. Then it became a lot easier to just get work done. You know, yeah, it's still not fun, but it's easy, right? It's like I can sit down, just crank out my work and get it done. And it becomes like this, like, power move. I'm just like, I'm not worrying about it. I'm just getting this work done and moving.
Craving the dopamine anymore.
Exactly. Like, I'm just moving through it, right? So it's that ability to shut off that craving, that dopamine, like Nick said, is really, really, really important for achieving new things, right? It's really, it's crucial. And meditation, in my opinion, is like, if you can master it, you have now mastered the ability of being present.
You know that I believe the actual statistics, I was listening to a TED Talk on mindfulness, I think it was yesterday, but mindfulness is one of the basically things like meditation, but 80% of like big successful like entrepreneurs and like CEOs and stuff like that, they have a mindfulness practice that they do every single day. 80%. Exactly. So there's a direct correlation between mindfulness meditation practices and success. So that's what we want to tell you guys. The connection is uncanny. 80%. 80%. That's crazy.
Right. And like,
so yeah,
a lot of those like big like businesses and firms and stuff like have like a therapist / like specialist that is there just for like mindfulness, meditation, achieving that, helping you kind of achieve that. So like, it's crucial. Mental health is crucial for succeeding, and that's why we do all of these things, right? We talk about so much on here, this mental health, because it's crucial in succeeding. So unless you have,
let's get in the practical. No, I'm ready. Yeah, let's get in the practical.
Let's get into this practical, okay?
So what are the steps you take to meditate?
Okay, so I'm gonna get deep into this. All right, I'm gonna be telling you the breathing. So grab some notes. All right, grab a piece of paper.
This is the practical.
Write this crap down, okay? And the reason I know this works is this: I took these meditation practices straight from dudes who can breathe underwater for like 8 minutes. Like, bro, if you're not taking their advice, whose advice are you taking? Obviously, they know how to shut off their brains and focus on just being in the present moment if they can breathe for 8 minutes underwater.
Not breathe for 8 minutes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just chill underwater for 8 minutes without breathing, okay? So, starting off, when we start off the meditation is this. First of all, turn off everything, okay?
Phones.
Especially when you're starting off,
phones.
It's really distracting to have like one thing I've practiced is learning to meditate in busy areas. Like I'll meditate near the lake. There's a lot of people walking and moving around, and learning to tune all that out is a really good practice to like get better at it. But when you're starting off, sit in your room or sit somewhere that's very quiet, right? Because if you have, a lot of distractions going on, your like parents yelling back and forth, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to shut off that brain yet, right? That's a skill you'll get to, but start off quiet room, right?
Find some nature too. I think
just
being on a hike or something, you can sit down.
If you can go somewhere nice with like some nature, you know a place. I know you know one. Even in your backyard or something. From there, if you want, you can turn on like I recommend it when I started off, turning on some like nice meditation music, like we said, like that Skyrim meditation music. To me, that's like a great way to kind of tune my brain into like the frequency of like calm and like collected. But it's up to you on what you want to do. And then from there, it really comes down to the way that we breathe, right? So for me, what I'll do is I'll sit there, cross my legs, kind of like bring my hands in, kind of like here, just get really comfortable, right? It doesn't really matter, like I'm not like going like this or something, like it doesn't matter.
You're not going to have to be like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. It's, to me, it starts with just like get really comfortable and just feel kind of like to the point where you can close your eyes and you don't have to worry that someone's going to come stab you or something. No anxiety, no pressure, no nothing. You're extremely comfortable in that moment, right? From there, I do a couple of deep breaths and just really focus on that. And what that's going to do is your brain's going to be thinking about a lot of things. And I want you to just turn all of those off and just focus on the breath. Focus on the inhale and the exhale, right? From there, you're going to start to feel this feeling of like, okay, there's nothing to think about, right? There's going to be nothing to think about, and that's crucial. And then from there, this is the thing that I do a little differently. I think a lot of people always do the kind of like deep breath thing. Yeah. That's when I stop the deep breath, right? I want my breath to get normal. Like I'm not stressed. It feels very like just a very normal breathing. And then what I'll do is I'll focus on breathing as light as I possibly can. This comes from one of the like free diving strategies that people do. It's called tidal breathing. Basically what it is it's basically the same type of breathing we do when we sleep, right? So it's like this very light, very, very light breathing. That's kind of just like, it almost feels like you're not breathing at all, but you are. And it's kind of how we breathe when we sleep. We don't take like big, deep breaths when we're sleeping. It's very light breathing. So kind of focus on this, like very like try to breathe as light as possible. Almost focus on like making like no movement whatsoever in your body. Right? Like your lungs don't feel like they're expanding at all. No movement, right? And what that's going to do is it's going to get your brain into this like sleeping almost meditation area where it literally feels like you could just fall asleep, right? For me, that's kind of that crucial point where it just feels like there's almost like nothing going on, right? There's nothing stressing me out. There's nothing going on. I'm fully in tune with what's around me. And what that's going to do is it's going to completely shut off the anxiety. And what you're going to start feeling is like if you're sitting there and you're meditating, you're going to feel like points in your body where it like feels like a lot of pressure. Like it feels like you're like, oh, I want to move that or something.
Oh, it's like you almost want to like itch or like poke. Like, yeah, like your hair feels out of place.
Yeah, you're going to feel like all these little things. And what I do from there is just like relax everything, right? Every breath I take, every like second, I'm just focusing on like completely relaxing my shoulders, completely getting into like the position that makes my body feel most comfortable. Because that comfort is where we're going to be able to really just let all that anxiety out and move it out of the way. And you can do this for 10 minutes, and I swear you'll feel better.
It'll change your life. Do it for 10 minutes consistently every week.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Game changer. And you can do it whenever you want. Like, for me, I always kind of do it before I go to bed, but I also do it just throughout the day. If I ever feel anxious, I'll do it, right?
Yeah.
You can even do it during work. Like for me, like sometimes I get kind of anxious. I'll like sit in the back and just take some deep breaths and just like do that breathing and just kind of like calm myself down for a second, right? So it's crucial. It really is, and it helps so much. So try that out. To me, that's like my method at doing it.
So I have a very simple like bro science method, right? For me, I sit down. I personally like to sit with better posture because I just want to work on my posture. But sit with good posture, upright. Put on my Skyrim music. Unless I'm out in nature, then I'm just going to listen to the sounds around me. And there's two things that I can focus on, but the main one that I focus on is breathing, right? So I always breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. And the whole point of my practice is to not let my thoughts run away, to come back to focusing on the breathing. So it's just constant breathing into the nose, out through the mouth, and focusing on that air just moving through my system, right? And sometimes I'll switch up my breathing. I'll do like into the mouth, out through the nose, just to keep my brain locked in on the breathing. Or sometimes I'll even just like exhale my air and just sit there for a couple seconds without breathing. And that forces my brain to think again only about breathing because my body's like, I need air, right? And then it goes back into the meditation sequence. But it's all about developing the method of I'm not thinking about anything else. Oh, like maybe my thoughts are starting to run through. Like catch yourself. Okay, back to breathing. Be like, oh, did I forget to wash my clothes? I need to wash my clothes. Back to breathing. Right? It's like catching those thoughts as they're moving away from you, back to breathing and staying in that moment.
Exactly.
Once you do that, then you can start to apply it to other areas in life. Because say somebody like your girlfriend just breaks up with you, and you know it's been like 3 days, and you're like just sitting at work, and then you're about to cry, but then you're like, no, I'm back in the present moment, and that's something that happened in the past, and I don't need to like stress about that right now.
Boom.
Stay in the moment. It's like back to breathing. Every single one of those moments can be transferred into your daily life. For me, one of the craziest things I've noticed is like when I'm out and about in the world now, is like I'll just pay attention to things. Like I'll look at the way light reflects on random objects, or I'll see how like a bug is walking across a window and like just like look at it and be like amazed that that little creature is just crossing a window right now in front of me. And it's like, it's insane.
Those moments become so much more crucial.
Yeah. Like I'm in those moments, I'm not thinking about anything else except for like enjoying the peace of that moment.
Exactly.
Like I swear to you the other day, I had some friends over. We were planning a road trip. Everyone was like fighting. It was so stupid, right? But I was
Right.
standing outside looking at my tree line, like by my house, and it was sunset. So like the trees were lit up in this like golden orange color, and all the birds were just like flying in and out of the trees. And I was standing there for like 30 seconds, just watching the birds move and everything. And all my friends were like, "Yo, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I just look at the birds." So like
Exactly.
it's cool to have those amazing moments because now I'm like so much more present in my reality than I was like 2 years ago before I started meditating. Like
Right.
I'm so much more like alive in these moments. Like one of my favorite meditation moments was so I run up to this really high point on my morning sunrise runs, and I just remember being like up super high, and it was a super foggy morning and it was windy, right? And I was up high, so the wind was even stronger up there. And I just sat down, the birds were chirping, the sun hadn't creeped over the horizon yet, so it was bright but not sunny. And so I sat down and meditated, and during that 10 minutes that I was meditating, right when I finished was when the sun peaked right over the horizon and the fog had just started to clear because the sun was like heating up the area or whatever. And just the peace and present that I felt in that moment was
Right.
uncomparable. Nothing has like ever been able to match that moment of just being in the present and like just seeing the birds or listening to the birds chirping, seeing the sun rising and just the wind flowing on me. I was like totally at peace. I wasn't thinking about anything else for the rest of my day, just appreciating that present moment in front of me. It's insane.
It's insane. And that true ability to just live in that present moment is why meditation is so crucial.
Yeah.
And I think, like you might feel like, it still seems hard. Like I don't know how to like do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, it's just like repetition. It's like anything. Like when you start trying to do something new, it's going to be hard in the beginning.
You're going to suck like in the
Yeah,
beginning.
and
I still suck.
Right. Like there's times where I can't meditate. Like I try to and it doesn't work, right? But you'll realize like through doing this, it's like you'll start to become very more in tune with what's going on and this feeling of like, okay, when something stressful happens, like the thing you said, like, oh, my girlfriend broke up with me and now I'm like freaking out. I want to cry. But then you come back to the present and just focus on that breathing. I even do that like when I'm not meditating, right? If something's stressing me out, something's freaking me out, sometimes I'll just sit there and just take a deep breath and that like resets my brain and goes, hey, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
We're
it
chilling.
locks you back in the present moment, and you just think back to like, oh, that's just a thought that's running, and like it's a thought I have control over. It's not something that's out of my control. I'm in control.
You're in control, and there's nothing that's going to kind of push you away from that control because now you have complete, like you've locked in, and there's nothing that anyone can do to kind of push that out of you, right? But like, in my opinion, the most crucial thing, the most beautiful thing that's come from meditation for me is that feeling of like, no longer is it that life is boring, right? Every little moment is great because you can just kind of sit there and enjoy that moment, right? For just what it is. So even if it comes down like you're like, meditation isn't that useful to me, like whatever, it is. Like you'll be able to appreciate the present and the moment so much more. And the thing that sucks is like, it feels like a lot of the time when like we're spending time with people who don't understand that, it can be hard, right? Just like they'll like just be on their phones the whole time or just be distracted. It's like, just enjoy the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Just sit there, stop thinking about what's on your phone, stop thinking about anything. Just enjoy the moment.
Literally yesterday, I remember I was taking out the trash at work, right? And so the sun had just set. So it was like that dark blue color in the night, right? And there was like gray clouds out and everything. And I just remember being so like present in the moment. I was tossing the trash, bringing the trash cans back in. I just looked up at the skyline and I stood in the middle of the street for like maybe, I don't know, a minute or two, just looking at like the skyline and how it was layered and how the lights, like the street lamps were on and just all the lighting around me and appreciating the clouds just slightly moving and everything. I was standing there in the middle of the street staring at the clouds. I must have looked insane, but I was like so engrossed in that present moment. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I was like totally there. It was awesome.
And like,
I never did that before.
Yeah. And before I started meditation, I could never do that. I never enjoyed that. Yeah. Right. And like, to me, what it really came down to is like, so many people make fun of me like, oh, you never take pictures or you never like, to me, it's like, I don't need to because I always remember those moments. Yeah. Like sometimes it's nice to look back along pictures and be like, oh, that was a great memory. But like, to me, like a lot of the time, like I just find like pulling the phone out and like distracting myself from that moment ruins the moment.
It does.
Right? It's like this thing where it's like,
does.
Like I can just appreciate what the moment is. And what's crazy, right? This is a crazy thing. Before we wrap this up, I've talked about before, there's this girl that I'm talking to, and she does do this thing where she goes on her phone a lot, right? And she makes fun of me for not taking a lot of pictures and not being like, oh, you don't take like, how are you supposed to remember anything? But what's crazy is I remember so many more moments that we spent together, so many more things that we've done together, and I never take pictures or document or do anything with it. But it's because I'm present in that moment, and it really means something to me to be present in that moment. But she takes pictures of everything, is on her phone all the time, documenting those memories, but then she can't remember those little things, right?
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, is it really helping you remember those things that much?
That's a good point.
Like, when it comes down to it, I remember so many more crucial things about people. I remember the things that are important, and I remember those memories so much more. So maybe think about that a little bit. I'm not saying don't go on your phone.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, sometimes leave your phone in your pocket. Just let it sit there. Turn it on, do not disturb, and just enjoy that moment. Because it's really going to change your life.
100%. I think that pretty much covers everything I need to say about meditation. It's one of the best habits you can ever build, ever.
And it's a skill that you do have to develop.
100%.
It took us both, like, at least a year of, like, doing it before we really got, like, good at it.
100%.
So.
It's a challenge, but it's 100% worth it. Like, I can't even put into words how much I, like, have grown from meditation and just being in the moment.
Meditation is crucial.
It's insane.
All right.
So, it is Monday morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, episode 21.
Episode 21.
That's crazy. You
By
just
the
finished
time,
it.
by the time this episode's out, like when this is releasing, I'm in Hawaii right now.
Oh, dude, I'm in like Northern California when this episode
We're
comes out.
we're both vibing up on trips right
Yep,
now. We're
we're
going
enjoying
crazy.
it. Yeah,
So go enjoy your summer. Go do some great
achieve
things.
some greatness.
Achieve that greatness. We're gonna just
Start
because
meditating.
we're on a trip
We're
doesn't
still
mean
gonna
we're
be
not
grinding.
achieving.
Yeah,
We're still gonna be grinding, and we're
literally.
gonna see you guys there too. All right.
Yes, sir.
So let's grind. Let's have a good summer. Think about these summer boys.
Go tell your mom you love her and do some good things with your day.
For real.
Peace.
Peace.